Welcome to Musings with me. I'm Lisa, and I hope that wherever this finds you in your day, it finds you with the love and blessings it is intended with. So enjoy this episode, and I'll catch you on the other side. Welcome to Musings with me. You're with Lisa, and I'm really glad you're here today. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope this finds you well and maybe even gets you thinking about an important topic. So today we're diving into a topic that so many of us will face, yet it is so often shrouded in silence: perimenopause and menopause. And for the purpose of calling it what it is and keeping it short, I lovingly call it the pause, because actually it's often what it feels like: a great big pause in life, mentally, physically, emotionally, and even spiritually sometimes. And now, before you hit pause thinking this doesn't apply to you, stick with me. Whether you're approaching this stage, in the thick of it, have passed it, or have loved ones who are, understanding this transition is crucial. It's not just about the physical changes, it's about the mental, emotional, and even spiritual shifts that happen as well. And many of us going through this are also dealing with teens transition with hormones at the same time. So if we can create some understanding and space for ourselves as we navigate this time, we can also gather ideas that might just work for them too. And who doesn't love a win-win? Let's talk about the reality of what this phase of life can look like for women. So the pause can show up in a variety of ways, and it often catches us off guard. I know it sure is sugar. I'm trying to keep it clean. I know it certainly caught me off guard. And the most common symptoms, like hot flushes and night sweats, are well known. But what about the host of other symptoms that we don't always associate with this stage of life? And they are definitely things that I did not associate with that stage of life until a whole host of other women around me who had already been through it were saying things like anxiety, panic attacks, or sudden bursts of anger that seem to come out of nowhere. It's like your body and mind are trying to send you a message that's not always easy to decode and can leave you feeling like you're inhabiting a body that you don't actually recognize. You know what I'm talking about, right? If you are one of these women, you know what I'm talking about. And some women don't experience anything at all. They just like cruise on through. So physically, you might notice changes in your cycle. You might have difficulty sleeping, sudden weight gain that doesn't seem to budge no matter what you do. And then there's the brain fog, the memory lapses, and that overwhelming fatigue that makes you feel like you're walking through mud. Emotionally, this time can bring feelings of loss of your youth, of your fertility, of a phase of life that you've known for decades. And mentally, well, those mood swings and anxiety and even the panic attacks can make you question your sanity. You start to feel like you're losing it. So mentally and emotionally, this can be an incredibly challenging time. As women, we often find ourselves at a crossroads in our 40s and 50s. We've spent so much of our lives giving, caring for our families, nurturing relationships, and often, not always, but often putting others' needs before our own. And then just as we reach this phase of life, our bodies seem to go, that's enough. The hormones that have regulated our physical and emotional selves for so long start to shift, and with them, so does our sense of well-being and balance. Definitely balance. Mental balance anyway. But what's even more interesting is what we start to is that when we start to explore the metaphysical meaning behind menopause, Louise Hay and other practitioners of metaphysical well-being offer insights that go beyond those physical symptoms. So they suggest that menopause isn't just a biological process, it's a profound spiritual and emotional transition as well. So in metaphysical terms, areas like the liver are often associated with anger and resentment, and you can see this in traditional Chinese medicine also. And menopause can be a time when these emotions come to the surface. Think about the phrases in a shitty liver or I'm feeling absolutely livid. There's a connection here. And then there's the gallbladder linked to bitterness and the phrase the absolute gall of that person. They point to the connection between our emotional state and our physical health. And even then, the liver and the gallbladder, which often work in tandem, are organs that are deeply connected to our ability to process emotions, especially anger and resentment. If you think about it, how much of our lives as women have been shaped by these emotions? It's honestly almost no coincidence that many women experience issues with these organs during the pause. It's as if our bodies are urging us to confront those buried feelings, to process them, and to finally allow ourselves to be who we really are, without the masks, without the pretense. And then there's the diet. Oh, yes, the diet. We live in a world where the 21st century diet is absolutely laden with processed foods, sugar, and toxins. And it plays a huge role, I feel, and there is research relating to this, in how we experience menopause. Alcohol in particular can exacerbate symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, and sleep disturbances, which I mentioned in a previous podcast around addiction. And when I cleaned up my diet, following guidance from the medical medium and focusing on whole, nutrient-dense foods, I noticed a remarkable shift. My symptoms eased and I felt more like myself. I felt more balanced, I felt more centered, and more in tune with what my body needed. That's not to say I didn't seek out physician support as well, but it was the combination of both alternative approaches and some traditional that really made a difference for me. And I have to say, it was only after seeing and this may not be the experience for all women, but it was only after seeing a female doctor that I felt like I got heard. Because prior to that, they wanted to put it down to being a mental issue. And I'm not negating mental well-being. However, nobody questioned what else could be going on for me at that stage of my life. It was a direct pathway into mental health, where they should have been looking at it as a holistic approach and would have been able to identify that some of the symptoms that I was having was not only mental health based. However, I would never rule that out. So I would suggest, if you are having similar issues, you find somebody who can listen as a physician and who can take into consideration the holisticness of your experiences. What is really going on in all aspects. So I want you to understand that I've been through this journey, and I can tell you that there is light on the other side. I've reached a point where I no longer experience the pause symptoms, and I believe that's largely to the work I did on my diet, on my mental and emotional well-being, and I changed the way I was thinking about life. And that is not an easy feat at times, but I cleaned up the way I was living inside and out, and it made a massive world of difference for me. So this then begs the question, how do we navigate this journey? How can you take some stuff from this podcast that might help you navigate this journey? How do we not only survive it, but thrive during the great pause. Here are some, I'm including some metaphysical meanings to consider and possible remedies for some symptoms of the pause. So number one, and I think this is one of the ones that a lot of people talk about, is hot flushes. So metaphysically, when we experience hot flushes in our body is releasing stored energy, and it's stored in our physical and emotional bodies so that it can be worked through for our own transformation and growth. And the real world options are to start with lifestyle changes like dressing in layers, avoiding triggers such as spicy foods and caffeine, and I would totally put alcohol in here as well, and practicing deep breathing exercises. And there is some suggestion that herbal supplements like black cohosh or evening primrose oil can be helpful, but it's really important to consult with a healthcare provider that you trust before starting anything new. Or like me, you could just stand in the frozen food aisle at the grocery store with your shoes off and breathe. I have to say, my kids did not enjoy this very much as I stood there in front of the ice cream or peas or whatever and just stood and took up the cold and breathed through that heat wave. Number two, weight gain. Another one. Thinking about this in the metaphysical sense, it often represents fear and it shows a need for protection. So fear may be a cover for hidden anger and a resistance to forgive. On the physical side of this, focus on a balanced diet rich in whole foods, lean proteins, healthy fats. Incorporate regular exercise, getting out and walking and talking with your friends, and especially strength training to help maintain muscle mass and boost your metabolism. Getting out with friends and getting physically active is a lifesaver sometimes. Reducing sugar and processed foods can also help manage that weight and improve those energy levels. Like I was saying before, definitely have a look at your diet. It can have a huge impact on what is actually happening in your body. And sugar is such a pain for lots of things. Number three, sleep disturbances. Metaphysically, they represent fear, not trusting the process of life, and guilt. And I found that a lot of this went away once I had rejigged my diet, but establishing a calming bedtime routine helped. I reduced screen time before bed, and I did an audio meditation for physical well-being, which you can find online, something that fits you. You could also consider a natural sleep aid like magnesium or valerian root, and creating a cool, dark sleep environment can also make a significant difference, especially for those jumpy legs or burning feet. Though I did find an ice pack and a towel on my feet helped a lot, just enabled me to even get to sleep in the first place. Number four, which was huge for me, was anxiety. And I'm grouping mood swings in here, but my husband may disagree with this, but I didn't really get mood swings, but I did get a lot of anxiety. And anxiety is about not trusting the flow and the process of life or fear of the future. And the pause itself is fear of no longer being wanted, fear of aging, self-rejection. You know, all of that stuff comes up as you start that transition into a new phase of life. It's about not feeling good enough, which is cause enough for the mood swings, really. So some of the things that you could be doing are incorporating mindfulness practices such as meditation or yoga, which I did and brought those into my daily routine, was making a huge difference. And sometimes this was even in the middle of the night when I couldn't get back to sleep. I would get up and do an anxiety yoga practice that I found on YouTube. And feel free to connect with me if you would like the link. It was awesome. And some nights I would wake up in the middle of the floor after I had finally got to sleep. It was so fabulous. Also consider talking to a therapist who specializes in midlife transitions. And don't shy away from discussing natural supplements with your healthcare provider. I also know of people who have had some fabulous success with hormone replacement therapies and some with natural therapies. And I know there's one online that I can link you up to if you're interested. I haven't used it myself, but I have got people who have found it to be really, really good. Number 5, brain fog and memory lapses. And I have to be honest, sometimes I think I still suffer from this one. Brain fog is thought to be what happens when you get stuck between your inner world, so what's going on inside your head and your emotions, and your outer world. And you're not completely in either one. You're sort of like stuck between the two and not really taking up space either in the outside world or just focusing on that space in your inner world. However, the first step with this, I would again say, would be to look at your diet and eat as clean as possible, like I mentioned in number 4 around your anxiety and mood swings. Really, your diet makes a massive impact on your physical and emotional well-being. Something else I found really good here was to get outside into nature for even as little as 10 minutes. Get out, get your shoes off, and get connected to the earth. You could do 30 minutes to recharge your batteries and rebalance your energy. Go for a walk in the bush. Go and stand at the beach. Get your shoes off and just connect into nature. Lie out on the ground and watch the clouds roll by. Watch the birds flying above you. Stay mentally active by learning new things. Play brain games or engage in some really good social activities that stimulate your mind. The other things that have been suggested are omega-3 fatty acids, which are found in fish oil and have been shown to support brain health, and maintaining a diet rich in antioxidants, which can also be beneficial. Please, on all of this, do your own research. I am going by what I have read and I am putting in here, or what I have heard or watched. But please make sure you do your own research. This is not medical recommendations. This is what I have found for myself and what I am passing on as an experience. And you know what? This isn't just about surviving the pause. It's about thriving through it. It's about recognizing that this is a time of transition and that you are the best person to know what is right for you. Like I said, I can tell you what I did and I can put some suggestions in here, but this is about you finding the things that work for you and having this as a bit of a menu where you can go, you know what, I'll try this and I'll try this and this is working and I'll go back and I'll have another serve of that. So don't feel that you have to use this as a prescription or be prescriptive in this kind of what I'm talking about, but you can use it as a bit of a buffet and test out what works for you. So coming back to that transition, you know, it's a time when we can finally start putting ourselves first, and that means thinking about what it is necessary for yourself. It's not selfishness, it's necessary. It's about understanding the symptoms that you're experiencing aren't just inconveniences, that they're signals from our bodies and our souls that something needs to change. So as you navigate this journey, consider that metaphysical meaning behind what you're experiencing. Look at your life and ask yourself, this is your chance to just sort of take stock before you're in that next phase of being in the full pause. What am I holding on to that no longer serves me? What do I need to release so that I can move forward with ease and grace? And how can I better take care of myself, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? And let me be clear, this is not about going it alone. Well-being support is crucial, and it's important to consult your preferred physician with any symptoms you're experiencing and exploring various approaches, alternative or otherwise, that support your body and resonate with you on a deeper level. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by this phase of life, remember that there are so many practitioners, resources, alternative practitioners to medical professionals who can help you navigate this journey. And most importantly, listen to your body. It has a wisdom all of its own, and it's guiding you toward a new way of being, one that's more aligned with who you truly are. And if you simply want to share your own experiences or get some support along the way, I'm here. Let's continue this journey together with love, understanding, and the courage to embrace the changes that come our way. Here's to letting go of what no longer serves us and stepping into our power as women. This is your time to be who you are meant to be, to live fully and to thrive. And on that note, I hope this episode has sparked some thoughts and perhaps even some shifts in how you view this powerful transition. Remember, this is just the beginning of that conversation, and there's so much more to explore. Until next time, take care of yourself, and remember, you are not alone on this journey. May this land for you with the intention it is meant with love, with understanding, and with a good dose of when the bleep are you going to do it, because tomorrow never comes. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in as always. And I'm sending mountains of love to you. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.